Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. This is just freaking weird. Last week in my current events, I reported that researchers had grown brain cells in a petri dish and taught it how to play the classic video game Pong. They called it dish brain. That's just freaking creepy. What I did not know at the time of that video was how insidious the dish brain research actually was. The brain cells in the petri dish are not completely human. Instead, they are a mix of human and mouse brain cells. This is a hybrid brain of two different species, grown in a petri dish and taught to perform tasks. Am I the only one that thinks there's something wrong with this? If they're researching ways to restore lost brain cells for people with, brain damage and like that, amen. That's cool. That's cool. But in my opinion, this could so easily be twisted into something really, really bad. Go back and check out some of my other Technophobe videos on synthetic biology, things like that. Synthetic DNA. Imagine if this were combined with other technologies that I talk about in my Technophobe videos. Imagine a synthetic being with a synthetic, grown in a petri dish, brain. The synthetic being is taught basic skills and relegated to a labor class. All of you who rail against big corporations, imagine these big evil corporations buying millions of these synthetic beings to use as slave labor. What other function other than helping people with damaged brain, brain injuries, traumatic brain injuries? What other purpose could this possibly serve? I don't get it. They're trying, in my opinion, they're trying to create a slave labor class. And keep in mind, these big corporations, they buy millions of these things. They could fire 70% of their labor force for these engineered synthetic beings. They're not humans, so you don't have to pay them. There's no payroll issues. They're slaves. If one dies, it's not human, so you toss it in the dumpster and buy a new one. They don't have human rights because they're not human. They don't have to worry about labor disputes or union troubles because these things aren't human. One of them decides, hey, I don't want to work anymore. They kill it, throw it in the dumpster, and get a new one. They're not human, therefore they don't have human rights. You see what I'm saying? This is absolutely wrong. But the fact that these big corporations could lay off 70% or more of their labor force is really concerning because that's millions of people unemployed. If unskilled people think that they have it hard now, imagine when they can manufacture a synthetic worker who can be programmed to do the same job that they do for free. Minimum wage could be $100 an hour. It won't matter because they won't have a job. There won't be any jobs. This would be worse than automation because the corporations won't need to buy machines. They just buy synthetic workers. When they start manufacturing these synthetic workers, our economy is going to go in the shit, and unemployment is going to be so rampant. How will you feed your family if your job gets taken over by a synthetic worker who doesn't need to be paid, doesn't get time off, and they treat like a thing because it's not human? Do you see what I'm saying? This dish brain thing is a marvel of modern genetic accomplishment. But think of how bad it could be. Think of how really, really bad it could be. I do Technophobe videos for a reason, and this is exactly the reason. There are some things we shouldn't know. That's all I'm saying. Hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.